This is PWF Empire Live.
It's the best thing going today.
The best insight and analysis on the hottest topics in the world of wrestling happens here. From storylines and news to rumors and reviews, we've got the action covered from bell to bell. Presented by PWFEmpire.com with your hosts,
Steven,
Evan Medina, and J-Dub.
do I have everybody's attention now?
The match starts now.
PWF Empire is live. Thank you all for tuning in this Sunday night following WWE TLC. Tables, ladders, and chairs. I am Jay, and I am joined on the hosting panel tonight by Tater and Tot. What's up, guys? You guys want to decide which one is Tater, which one is Tot?
You know, after that ending, I feel like we should just forget that promo existed, and let's just be nice to Reigns, because that was pretty damn badass. I don't want to think about Tater Tot right now.
I volunteer to be the magic bean.
Well, I don't know, Steven, you may have a point there. Maybe that Roman Reigns is in the past, because we did see a bit of a different guy tonight on TLC, and we'll be talking about that and everything else that occurred at this show. The WWE World Heavyweight Championship was on the line in a TLC match in the main event. We had a few other title matches on the show, and we'll be talking about all of that. Hopefully you guys join in on the fun with us. Let us know what your thoughts on TLC were. You can do so in a variety of ways. You can do so on Twitter with the hashtag PWF Empire, on YouTube, in the live chat if you happen to be watching live right now, and at any time you could post on PWFEmpire.com, because as always the conversation continues on and off air. We are going to get that conversation started in the same way that WWE got TLC started. This was, let me make sure that I have this official name just correctly and to a T, Triple Threat Tag Team Ladder Match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. New Day win in defending versus the Usos and the Lucha Dragons, and New Day came out of the match as the still tag team champions, and this was due to interference from Xavier Woods. There was a point during the match where he was actually on commentary until he realized that the match was no disqualification. He jumped into the ring. He threw one of New Day's opponents that was on the ladder trying to get the tag titles. He threw his trombone at them, and then one of his fellow New Day brothers jumped into the ring, climbed to the top, and captured their tag team titles. So New Day, still your champions. So where do we get started with this one?
You know, it was a good match. What else can we say? That damn what's the move called? Sin Cara's finisher.
Selena. Are you talking about Kalisto?
One of them, dude. I don't know, but
Selena del Sol.
Yeah.
Yes, we all know what you're talking about here. That damn Selena del Sol off the ladder that was in the middle of the ring to the one that was like forming a bridge.
That was my face was like, did he really? Like, that was fucking dangerous, and I enjoyed it.
That's one move that when you do it, it has to be absolutely perfect, because if you're one little degree off, it could be disastrous. But that was magical. That was a friggin' amazing move.
Yeah, to me that was the match right there, but
all right, Evan, what you got?
Yeah, this was a great opener. I mean, great opener. And I know that in our predictions video, we talked about how this match was more than likely going to be one of the better ones of the night. And that comes as no surprise that it was. I mean, three really good tag teams. You put them in a ladder match, and you figure, yeah, these guys will come up with some innovative spots and do some things that'll be interesting. And, I mean, hell, first of all, you get the New Day with a fun promo to get it going, to get you hyped to begin with. Xavier Woods on commentary, correcting the mediocre commentary team of Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, and JBL, with multiple corrections from Xavier Woods, because apparently Cole can't tell the difference between Kalisto and Sin Cara, and
neither can I, apparently.
Well, I mean,
but then again, I'm not a WWE commentator, so
when you have, yeah, at least you're not getting paid to say the right names here. So either way, yeah, this was a great opener. It's as good as you could ask for to kick off a pay-per-view. It was the perfect match to be placed as the opener. I don't think anything else in this card would have done the pay-per-view the correct justice other than this one as far as opening it up. Again, great spots top to bottom. Innovation I felt throughout the Usos with that Uso splash in the corner. Yes.
Innovation.
Yes, and that Uso splash in the corner was cool. The Salino del Sol, or whatever, however the hell you say it, from Kalisto as well. That was obviously the spot of the match, no question. Freaking amazing. And it was getting "This Is Awesome" chants multiple times for a good reason. I mean, it was very deserving of this. So probably top to bottom, the most fun match of the night, no question. And New Day retaining with a trombone getting thrown into the ring. Pretty damn awesome.
The thrown trombone.
It was perfect throw too, because I mean he easily could have just completely missed it, and it would have been it would have just been botchamania. Here we go, but it was perfect. It was just I feel like he practiced it, so it was fantastic. Good, really great stuff. Awesome.
Yeah, that key word there that you mentioned is innovation, because when you get into matches like this, it's very easy to fall into a rut where you do the same things that have been done time and time again because you know that they get a reaction. But what happens is that every time you do them, they get less and less of a reaction. With this match, you saw a lot of innovative things from all of the members who were competing in this match, and it just came together to form a very amazing picture. This is how you get a friggin' show started, especially a show like TLC, when you promise the thrills and the excitement and all of the danger and the intrigue and things like that. All of that was encapsulated in this opening contest of the night. And of course, New Day winning, of course, that's just the cherry on top of the cake. So we still got New Day as champions, and this could possibly be a star-making performance for Kalisto. I'm going to be very interested to see what WWE does with him from this point going forward. And speaking of going forward, Rusev versus Ryback was the next match of the night. And of course, Rusev was accompanied to the ring by his fiancée, Lana, and that said fiancée, she did factor into the match just a tad bit. At a point where Rusev and Ryback were on the outside of the ring, I think it was a situation where Rusev pushed Ryback into Lana. He got a bit distracted there. Rusev hit him with a kick to the face, rolled him into the ring, and applied the accolade, to which Ryback could not respond to the referee trying to get his attention, trying to make sure if he was still actually conscious. So Rusev wins the match here via submission.
This was a match. I didn't even know it was going to be on the show. Actually, why is Wade Barrett the only one of the League of Nations not on this show? You notice that?
No idea, but he was in the beginning, like right before the show started. They were all hyping up the night, and
that cheesy ass B-movie supervillain roundtable meetup.
Yeah, let's hit the table as hard as we can.
What was that? What are you talking about?
It was on the pre-show, the pre-show before TLC started. That's kind of redundant, but yeah, it was on the pre-show, and they were basically being cheesy supervillains. Tonight, WWE. Tomorrow, the world.
So why? So Barrett was in the building, but he didn't. All right, whatever. Anyway, yeah, not much to say about this match. I didn't care about it.
Yeah, there was a point in the match where I actually was interested in it, because I love those big heavyweight matchups where you see two big ass dudes get into the ring and just slugging it out with each other.
So do I.
But the point in the match where they lost me was when you had Rusev and Ryback going back and forth, with one trying to suplex the other, and then when they countered it, the other would try to suplex the other. And I could also tell that that's the point in the match where they lost the crowd too, and they never got them back. And
yeah, that's a liability with these big man matches, is that there's no transition between moves. It's just like you do a move and then I do a move. I think that's why people like the cruiserweights better, because the transitions are so smooth. But when you have the big guys, it's really hard because you can't necessarily flip around. You can't do the hurricanranas. You can't, So I think that's the liability. But yeah, when they're done well, they're kind of good, like the big man matches.
Yeah, this one just wasn't, because after that, Ryback, like immediately after they did the whole suplex back and forth seesaw, Ryback, he went into his comeback. I think that's what they call him in WWE 2K16. He went into his comeback moveset, and that's supposed to get the crowd amped up. And me, as a viewer from home, that's supposed to get me back into the match, like pull me back in, but it just never did. And from that point on, it was just like, okay, well, this is a match.
Pretty much. Yeah, it felt like something that you would watch on any show. I mean, it really just, there was nothing distinct. In fact, the exact same thing that had happened on the last couple of shows happened again with the Lana thing. And I mean, that's okay. Her being involved is not a bad thing, and her helping Rusev to win this match isn't a bad thing, especially when it's feigning an injury. So, I mean, that did work to a certain extent, but it was pretty clear that that was what they were going to do. So there wasn't whole lot left to be desired. There wasn't a whole lot to there wasn't a lot of imagination to throw into this thing. And honestly, yeah, I was in the same boat. Like, I wasn't even thinking about this match being on this show. And then more importantly than that, it was in the dreaded 2 spot. I've talked about this in the past, where you have a really great opener and then you have a match that follows that is just already doesn't have a whole lot going for it. It just is that much worse because you're coming down from that high that you were in on the first match, and now that high is going right the fuck away because this match is just not even close to that level. So I don't think Rusev and Ryback is a bad matchup or feud or anything like that, but it's just, you know, a victim of where it was on the card, and also the fact that, you know, the feud and whatever, if you even want to call it that, going into this was uninteresting. So, I mean, you're not even that invested in it from the get-go. So there's really not a whole lot else to say besides, yup.
Well, from here, the next match, maybe we could pull something out of this one. This was a chairs match for the United States Championship. Alberto Del Rio, the champion, defending versus Jack Swagger. And those chairs, they did factor into this match a great deal, actually, because that's how Alberto... Yeah, a lot of chairs. That's how Alberto Del Rio, he won here. He piled up the chairs beneath Jack Swagger, and then he hit his double foot stomp in the corner, his new terrible finisher, and he won the match here. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. All of the little things that we were talking about, the last chair standing match, musical chairs, I'm quite sure they would have been a lot more exciting and a lot more engaging than what we actually got from these two at TLC.
Yo,
but maybe that's
why wasn't Zeb Coulter involved? What is going on with this stuff? Like, where's Zeb Coulter? Why isn't the whole reason why Swagger's feuding with Alberto is because of Zeb Coulter and he's not even involved? Did I miss that? Was he not there at all?
Yeah, I didn't see him at all during TLC, but apparently, yeah, the Mexico-American.
Well, I'm glad that's over because that was the dumbest shit ever. But like,
yeah, that lasted like 6 weeks. I mean,
yeah, if you're gonna have this, because it was the only reason why they're feuding. I don't know. I would say this was another match, but it really wasn't because this was a chairs match, and that's exciting, right? No, it was just a match, and it was. I don't like chairs matches. I don't like chairs because you just end up doing the same old stupid spots that look completely
You don't
contrived.
like chairs. Where are you sitting right now? What are you sitting on right
I was
now?
thinking about that actually during the match. Like, what counts as a chair? Like, can you use the chairs that the commentary team sit on, or those?
Yeah, because they did say they made a point to say all chairs are legal. I'm thinking like
what is technically a chair? Like, how do you define
electrical
one?
chair?
Like, if I sit on a table, is that a chair all of a sudden? But anyway, yeah, there's really not much to say about this one either. What is going on with Del Rio's moves? Like, how many finishers does this guy have by this point?
I hope it's less than one after tonight, because that double foot stomp, he needs to get rid of that. Like, yeah, I don't even accept it with Finn Balor. I'll be damned if I accept it with Alberto Del Rio.
He has that, and he has the arm breaker, and he has the kick that beat Cena, which I don't even know if that was supposed to be a finisher. I guess it wasn't.
Yeah. Oh, man, this match, oh, God. I mean, Monday's show was more than enough of an indication of how we all felt and how I, expressed my disdain for the chairs match stipulation that I fucking hate so much. And I can't reiterate that enough. I fucking hate the chairs match concept. I hate it.
Wait a minute, Evan. How much do you hate it?
Oh, I hate it so much. Wait, what was that?
Gotcha.
So much. Yeah. Oh, God,
Was
I hate
this
chairs
even
matches.
no DQ? Because I was under the impression that only chairs were legal, but then in the match, Cole said it was no DQ. So I'm like, okay, well, which one is it? I guess I don't even think they know, but yeah, go ahead.
I don't think anyone knows because it was kind of just thrown together a few years ago, and then every year since they're like, well, we're just gonna keep doing it because yeah, and again, you're kind of booked into a corner a little bit too with this match because it's like Del Rio and Jack Swagger. You know, these aren't exactly characters that people are, you know, jumping for joy over or giving one fuck about. I mean, you don't really feature Jack Swagger very much over the last calendar year, and then you expect people to look at him as some babyface who can come in and win the U.S. title and actually, like, why aren't people getting behind him? Well, no shit. No one's going to get behind somebody that they've barely seen for the last year on TV or in any capacity at all. And, yeah, you're right. You know, without any Zeb Coulter involved, it made it that much less appealing than it already was, which was pretty much a zero. But either way, this match could have been worse. It really could have. It wasn't the worst match I've ever seen. It really just... It was okay, but when I, you know, kind of tie things back into the fact that it was a chairs match, it's what ruins it for me. Honestly, like, if this was just a one-on-one match, I would have liked it better. It really, the chairs just are so overdone in these matches, and it's just not needed. I would have rather just had a no DQ match where they brought in a chair and they didn't have to tell me 15 times that chairs were legal, because if you have a no DQ match, chairs are the most common weapon that you see being used. So it's basically just a no DQ match, to be completely honest, except with chairs multiplied. So it really doesn't do anything at all. And
well,
more
this started
importantly,
the trend tonight of burying people beneath weapons, because you had Swagger get buried beneath the chairs during that one spot where Del Rio just put chairs on him. Put more chairs. And
that does a lot of damage, man.
Later on, it happened 2 other times, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, you're very right about that. And not only that, but the United States title was on the line here. And, well, hell, I forgot. I mean, I didn't even really remember during the match that the belt was on the line. I really didn't. But, yeah, I got exactly what I would have expected out of this match, so I'm ready to move on. But wait, before I do, I hate chairs matches so much. That's all.
Oh, man. This was a technically sound match with two very talented people, but it's just that I don't care about Alberto Del Rio, and WWE hasn't even attempted to get me to care about Jack Swagger. I guess because he's an American, I'm an American, that's all that is needed to tell a story. But if that's what you think, then you're dead wrong, buddy. That you need a whole hell of a lot more than that, and I just did not get it in this match. And that just goes to show that a build-up, it does play into the actual shows a great deal, because if you don't feel any kind of investment going into a show, it doesn't really matter what they do in the ring, because they're already working from a disadvantage. First, they have to work so hard to get you to care, and then they actually have to deliver a match from beyond that point, and they never got me to the point where I cared at all about any of the action tonight. So, moving right along, Team ECW versus the Wyatt family. Team ECW, the Dudley Boyz, Bubba Ray, and Devon, with Tommy Dreamer and Rhyno versus Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, Luke Harper, and Erick Rowan. Congratulations to the Wyatt family for getting a big win on pay-per-view. They actually had a clean sweep of the
No,
Team
they put
ECW.
Rowan through the table, just like we said.
No, and see, just like I said, if Erick Rowan was the only person eliminated, then that still counts as a clean sweep to me.
All right.
Because, I mean, it is Erick Rowan.
Rowan
so.
put him over. Such a class act, that guy.
I looked at it as it is equatable to an American hero. He sat there and said, you know what, guys, I'm going to sacrifice myself so we win this match.
Just like he did with the Brothers of Destruction, putting over the Undertaker like that.
Oh, it was amazing, right? I mean, this is a legend in the business, putting people over for the sake.
Erick Rowan, the gentleman and the scholar.
He really is. He is a scholar, a Rubik's Cube master. I mean, this man is just, he is something. He is something.
Kyler is saying in the chat, Jay, you're just jealous that Erick Rowan is more selfless than you or any of your faves wish they could be. Okay. No, I guarantee you that ain't it. That is not it at all. But yeah, congratulations to the Wyatt family.
No, I was disappointed about this match. I expected this to be the best match of the night. I expected this to be like a war, but it really wasn't. It was just spots.
Oh yeah, like that's the thing. Like, congratulations to the Wyatt family, but this match was a hot ass boiling mess.
Yeah, I don't know.
All over the place.
I don't know how that happened. To be honest, I expected a lot more out of this match. Maybe I was wrong to expect that. I don't know.
Yeah, because when you actually sit down and look at it, it's like ECW 2015. Should we have expected more?
I know I didn't.
At the end of the day, it's still the Dudley boys, and Rhyno is still decent, and Dreamer, I don't really know how he's doing, but he's there too.
The thing with me in this match, there were way too many clunky points in the match where you could tell that they were trying to do something, but it just did not come off well. And a lot of it had to do with the actual eliminations. When you went to put people through the table, it was just people, off position and just a lot of weirdness. Yeah. There was one point where Bubba Ray jumped from the ring apron onto Braun Strowman, and it's like, I don't even know what the hell happened there. There was another point in the match where Bubba had a trash can in his hands, and you could tell that he stopped and waited for Braun Strowman to hit him with the trash can. And I'm just sitting here like, just spot after spot after spot, just ineffective.
There's a lot of weird stuff that happened too, like a lot of broken tables that didn't count as eliminations. Like there was one point where Bubba moved out of the way and Braun kicked the table and it broke, and I'm like, is that an elimination? Because he technically went through it. I guess it wasn't.
Devon, he was on a table and the table just broke.
Just broke, right? And the eliminations just looked like by numbers. Like, okay, this is the point where Bray Wyatt like rock bottoms him through the table. This is the point where they do this, and this is I don't know. It was a very like choreographed sort of match, and there was a lot of sort of clunky moments.
It felt like a fucking Indies match, in my opinion. But
that's a good way to put it. I was gonna say like Braun Strowman. Is it Braun or Braun? I can never say this guy's name.
Braun, B-R-A-U-N.
Braun Strowman. He got knocked off his feet several times in this match, where I thought his whole gimmick is like he's never been knocked off his feet except for that one time with the Undertaker and Kane. But the Dudleys just knocked him off casually outside the ring, like twice. So was that intentional? I don't know. And they also buried him beneath all the tables. Like they got that from Del Rio.
And I didn't really mind that as like a strategy to even the numbers. Like I saw what they were trying to do there, but obviously like 30 seconds later, Dreamer gets speared or suicide dived through a table. I don't know how to explain that, but. This was a hot mess is absolutely the best way to put this one. It felt like something out of the indie scene that you're just like watching all these guys do all this shit at the same time. Everyone's doing something all at once, and it's hard to follow. It was the definition.
You know what it seemed like to me? It seemed like an ECW reunion in the year 2015. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
You know what? There's one line that Michael Cole said that encapsulates this whole match that goes to what you said, Evan, which is, if you're wondering where Tommy Dreamer is, he's currently being destroyed by Braun Strowman outside the ring.
The commentary has to tell you what you can't see because there's so much of a clusterfuck going on. And I mean, honestly, that's what this match was. It was a clusterfuck. The good thing about it is that the Wyatts win. Was it impressive? Good God, no. It's not impressive at all because, I mean, they literally had to try to sell you that this match wasn't a 4 older guys against 4 younger guys by having Dreamer say age is just a number. Like, give us this philosophical talk about how age is just a number. I'm like, man, they are
and then later on, 85 years of combined experience. Now all of a sudden, it's not a number. This is important now.
That's right. I mean, they eliminated Erick Rowan because he sacrificed himself, and then that gave them the ego to think that they were going to win the match. See, this is what Erick Rowan planned this out. He was like, you know what? Take me, because I want to make you guys think that you're going to win this match, and then we're going to eliminate 4 you guys in a row. And then I'm not even going to come back out to celebrate with the other 3. I'm just going to let them have their moment, and I'm just going to stroke the orange beard, solve another Rubik's Cube, and put on my mask again. And that's what Erick Rowan does. He's a very philanthropic man, as you can tell. But anyway, all joking aside, the Wyatts win, that's a positive to take away from this. I am seriously happy that they won, because my tweet would have literally just been, ha-ha, in 140 characters if they had lost, because it just would have been the funniest thing to me if they lost to these guys tonight. But, yeah, it was a shit show. At least the right team won, but it really wasn't very good.
Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship was up next. Kevin Owens going in as the champion, but the person who walked out as champion is Dean Ambrose, the new Intercontinental Champion and apparently the new president of WWE.
Oh yeah, did you see my tweet? Because
yeah,
I'm so sick of they do this thing where it's like if you're a champion, you have some sort of power over the show. It's like. Same thing happened when they were doing the title tournament. Like Ambrose is like, when I become champion, I'm gonna do this and this. It's like, what? Like you doesn't mean you're gonna be like institute laws or anything. It's not. And I'm so sick of this. Like I'm the face of this. Like I'm the face of the show. I'm the face of the tag team division. Like shut up with all this nonsense. Like,
you know what's so funny when they go out there and they say stuff like that, it's kind of like, if any of you remember when you used to run for student body president and stuff like that, the student council back in elementary school, knowing that not a damn thing that you say is actually going to get implemented. Oh, I'm going to make recess 20 minutes longer and we're going to play games in class and stuff. Doesn't matter.
It's just like the actual president.
I guess so. Hey,
yes.
There you go.
Yes, so true.
But yeah, and they're like, Ambrose is champion. What's things gonna be like? I don't know. The time he was the U.S. champion and didn't defend it for like a year.
When he used to like come out with the shield and just throw the fucking belt over the barricade.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck this. Why do I have to carry this around?
Yeah,
but
I wasn't happy with the ending, honestly. Because like I said on Monday, they already fucked Ambrose over, and I'm not saying they fucked him over because. There's always like the magical reset, and that's what I'm counting on, which is when he turns heel, it doesn't matter what happened before. So you always have that, but Owens, like, he's not going to have the magical reset because I don't see him turning face anytime soon. So it's like, Ambrose is already established he's a mid-carder. Okay. Now Owens, he beat Cena clean, so isn't that something you want to maintain? Shouldn't he be able to beat everyone else because he beat Cena clean? Apparently not. And it's just I feel like his reign didn't go anywhere. Like he didn't run through enough opponents. He could have had like a nice moment where a new babyface or a returning babyface, quote, Sami Zayn, topples him for the belt. But that didn't happen. Just like he beat Ryback, he defended it against Ryback, and I think that was it. And then he lost it. So it's like the title reign didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, for me, this match was actually a pretty good match. It's just that the commentators didn't help for me at all because I sit there and I listen to all of this stuff that they talk about Dean Ambrose, and it doesn't connect because these were the same guys within the first few minutes of the match. Oh, the always unpredictable Dean Ambrose. And Dean Ambrose, he's so crazy and he's a lunatic and he's on the fringes of society. Then when he gets to the point where he does like that, that rebound clothesline where he goes back, he bounces off of the ropes and then hits the person with the clothesline. Jerry Lawler is screaming, oh, you know that was coming. Wait a minute. What happened to the always unpredictable Ambrose?
Well, he's going to throw popcorn in your face, which apparently doesn't mean a thing to Owens because he has popcorn and soda every day.
Yeah, see, somebody posted in the chat last week that he didn't do anything because he liked it, apparently. That was true. So, there you go. But I will say, though, that the action in this match, it was good. It was good action. There were a few moments where I thought that the match was going a completely different way than it actually did go. And, yeah, I think there was a point where Dean Ambrose, like, reversed the pop-up powerbomb. Like, all the ending sequence of this match, it was it was pretty good. But I just wish that Kevin Owens, he would have continued his reign. I wasn't ready to let that end quite yet.
Yeah, me neither.
Yep. I feel you guys. I mean, I'm really glad Ambrose won in another way, though, because I don't know. There's something about him winning that's all right with me because I feel like this feud has a chance of continuing on because of it. I feel like if Owens wins, clean with the pop-up powerbomb, it's like, okay, next. Whereas Ambrose winning can ignite a fire in Owens. I mean, again, this is wishful thinking, not what we'll actually get. But, it would therefore give a good reason to have Owens get a rematch for the belt, obviously, and he could win the belt right back. I mean, I actually think that could happen. I think that's a realistic possibility. And
he could, but it doesn't really happen often. I kind of like
when
they trade belts because it's kind of, I don't know. There's something about that I like, even though usually I don't like the even booking.
Right, me either. But I think in this case it could actually work out really well, and it could be a reason for this match or this feud to go on for 3 or 4 matches. I honestly think match quality wise, it was solid, but what they had in the tournament at Survivor Series was better to me. Either way, it was still solid, and there was kind of an awkward moment when they were trying to have Owens reach for the ropes, and he pretty much missed the ropes. But whatever, because he never actually lifted his shoulder up. It was just like, oh, he got his one finger on the rope, and I mean, whatever. But either way,
I guess he's gonna use that. Never mind, shit, because Dean Ambrose. Wait a minute. Yeah, never mind.
No, it was a
Dean
different
Ambrose
spot you're thinking
doesn't
about.
matter.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you meant there, but either way, yeah, I mean, Ambrose is IC champion. I'm not going to complain about that. I mean, yeah, the booking-wise, it's weird for him to win a championship right now, but it's like, honestly, the mid-card is all over the fucking place, I mean, I'm really not surprised when someone loses their belt anymore. Like, anybody could win at any time, and it's like, yep, and here, this guy is now more relevant because he has the title, like, and then a month later, he has the title still, and he's not relevant anymore, because we're not going to feature him that much, and, it's just, everybody's all over the place, so, it just is like one big clusterfuck of a mid-card. That's really kind of what it is. So, I mean, for me, Dean Ambrose winning is a good thing in the regard of the fact that he is solid. He would make a solid champion. But, I am tired of some of his in-ring work, like how every time they're on the outside of the ring, he spins around and tries to hit you with a clothesline or whatever, and then does the same thing with the...
I'm very happy of how that turned out tonight because
yes.
he did that spin around. Kevin Owens caught him and hit him with the fallaway slam and
I love that.
Rammed him into the security barricade. That was one of my favorite spots of the match.
It was mine too. I was very thankful that it turned out that way because if it didn't, it would have been annoying because we usually get the damn rebound through the ropes into a clothesline probably 3 to 4 times a match with Ambrose anyway. So even though he is a good in-ring worker, his character overuses moves and therefore making him a whole hell of a lot more predictable than what they are trying to say that he is.
I feel like people give him too much shit on that clothesline. Like, it's just a signature move. Like, everyone has their signature moves.
It is, but I mean, when he's using it 3 or 4 times...
maybe stop forcing the whole unpredictable lunatic French type.
Well, that I agree with, but the move itself, I can see where the complaint is. Like, it's kind of... You see it coming. It's not like an RKO. Like, even when you see an RKO coming, it's still kind of cool.
Yeah.
But this is just like, it's a clothesline.
Yeah, really. It's pretty simplistic. But, I mean, I do like that he comes through the ropes like that. I mean, when he was first doing it, it was really cool to me. But now it's just kind of been oversaturated to a certain extent. But, yeah, again, it was a solid match. Ambrose winning has its pros and cons, I feel. The biggest pro I think that can come away is that these two can continue a feud, I hope, for the IC title going forward. Yeah, it was decent, but that's about really all there is to take away from it. It could have been better. I think their match at Survivor Series actually was better than this one.
From one championship match to another, this time the Divas Championship, Charlotte, the champion, came down to the ring with her title and her father, Ric Flair, to face off against Paige. When everything was said and done, Charlotte...
Flair's her father? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't know that? Yes.
Shoot.
Apparently.
I thought that was his wife.
No, they just were in the same class in school, but I digress. Charlotte, she came into this match, and actually, once again, we got another situation where nefarious means were undertaken to lead to victory. Charlotte, she got a little bit of an assist from her father, Rick, and while Paige was occupied with the ref and Ric Flair, Charlotte was untying one of the pads for the turnbuckle, and she drives Paige's head into that, and then she pins Paige and retains her championship. So Charlotte's still the champion. Now, we've seen Paige versus Charlotte a few times around, but I'm interested to see what's the reaction based off of this one that happened at TLC.
I'm a little bit more interested in this after that because I feel like at least things are going, you know? We're starting, like, this is an actual storyline, and I think the roles are much better now. Like, Charlotte is a better heel, and Paige is a better face, and even though it's kind of silly, I think it's an interesting case because you just had the Paige turn, no pun intended, and now she's probably going to be a babyface again. But then it kind of like retroactively makes her heel turn not such a heel turn because she was right.
Yeah, and I've said that for weeks.
Yeah, you said but I remember you said that, and I was like, huh, that is interesting. So that's one of the only reasons why I'm interested in it. But this was a decent match, and it got time. I kind of wish she had done her finisher after she hit her into the turnbuckle because that was kind of a anticlimactic ending. But either way, it was fine. And I think Ric Flair as the heel manager could work, although I'm not sure how much it could work, because Flair is always going to be over. But it could work, yeah.
Yeah, I am interested because we're going to get a Charlotte heel turn, or at least a heel version of Charlotte, whatever. I like it. I'm a lot bigger of a fan of Charlotte being like this than I ever was with the robotic babyface that we had prior to. And I've been a huge critic of the fact that they've overused the idea of Ric Flair being her father and, that being such a consistent thing. But if we are going to if that is going to be such a big thing, I am going to be a lot more satisfied if this is how it's done, rather than them just using it to get her over in some way, shape, or form. And this is still a way to get her over, just get her more heat in another way, I guess. But I'm okay with it because it's like she's taking a page out of her own father's playbook, and I think that's an interesting dynamic to run with. Whereas if you just keep saying that, well, by the way, Ric Flair's her dad, it just makes it seem so obvious. So it's like they're doing the same thing, but they're making it less obvious, and they're actually using it to benefit Charlotte in some way, shape, or form, which I think is good. So I still think he's being overused in her character development, if this is really development or more of just a turn. I mean, I guess that's a little hard to see. But right now I like what I'm seeing with Charlotte a lot more than what I was seeing prior to. And more importantly than that, I like the dynamic of her and Becky being probably the next feud or a triple threat feud, whatever we're going to get out of this. It interests me a lot. I like it. And I mean, this match was okay. It didn't really blow me away in any way, shape, or form. But the implications of Charlotte turning heel and the direction that things can be going into, and this is like that starting point of the direction turn, is exciting, is intriguing. So there are some positives to take away from this overall for me. And so, again, I'm not going to say this was a great Divas title match, but I think that what this could be leading to, it has some exciting thoughts. But I'm never going to jump the gun on a Divas segment or anything like that because of what we are so used to in the past. So I'm never going to say that this is going to lead to something good, but it very well could, and I hope it will. But either way, Charlotte being a heel and being more like her dad and using whatever tactics to win, being the dirtiest player in the game type of thing. Feeding off of her dad, yes, but actually using it to help herself in some way, shape, or form is a whole hell of a lot better than just flat out going out of your way to mention that he's her father at every damn turn.
It kind of reminds me of when Cowboy Bob Orton was in Randy's corner. A little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I said this on the preview show for TLC. WWE has gotten to a point where a lot of people are asking the question, who am I supposed to like between Charlotte and Paige? And the fact that they are asking that question right now, it means that WWE isn't forcing you to like one or the other, or say, hey, this is the white meat babyface, this is the angel here, you gotta like that person. So I'm in a situation where they're not forcing me to like either one, and turns out I actually like both. There's some heat in this feud, and I think that heat led to a good match that I really enjoyed.
That's what I've been advocating for. I want all the characters to be like that, but see, I can't give them credit because I don't think it's intentional. I think they were like, oh shit, this Paige face a heel turn isn't working, we better try something else, and now they're doing a double turn, and sooner or later Paige will be the clear baby face again. So it's like, I don't think it's intentional. But yeah, I do appreciate that ambiguity. I just don't want to give them credit for it.
And that is the thing, when you said that Paige is going to end up being the babyface again, as long as they do not make that turn, I'm fine with that, because you can't act as if what she went out there and said wasn't fucked up. Like, let me take the hit. Like, let me say, okay, I'll admit to being a fucked up human being for liking Paige, even in spite of what it was that she said. But just don't act like it didn't exist, because it did. She said all of those things, and it matters. So please don't go like the full-on babyface turn for Paige. I like her being booked as the rebel. I like her with a bit of an edge. She's a truth teller out there. She goes out there and she says some shit, and whether it may be, PC or not, I mean, it's the damn truth. But, yeah, that's on Paige. As far as Charlotte is concerned, I really liked her characterization in this match. I am a big fan of the pairing between her and Rick, because as Evan was talking about, she's benefiting from it more now that she's kind of like emulating him than she was when Ric Flair wasn't even around, and she wasn't anything like Ric Flair, and they would continually mention it. It just got to a point where it's like, oh hey, this is Ric Flair's daughter, care about her because of that. Now it's a situation where it's like, we're going to actually have her go out there and she's going to do this set of actions, and then you care about her based off of those actions. And maybe nuance to some people, but I do appreciate the difference, and I'm liking Charlotte because of it. So yeah, rousing success. I won't say rousing success. Good stuff from the Divas on TLC tonight. And here we're going to move on to the main event, the tables, ladders, and chairs match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Sheamus, the champion, defending versus Roman Reigns. And we knew to expect some fuckery. And we'll get to what happened after the match, after we discuss this, but we do have to talk about the main event in and of itself. We all were expecting some kind of BS to go on, and the BS was in the form of the mid-card Mafia. They ran down to the ring, and when it seemed as if Roman Reigns was going to win this match, they intervened, and Rusev concocted a plot to put Roman Reigns in the Accolade on the outside of the ring and let him watch in agony in two different ways. Sheamus ascend to the top of the ladder, capture the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. That didn't go quite as planned. Roman Reigns fought through that. He jumped back into the ring, and then he got hit with the bro kick, and he rolled out of the ring, and Sheamus, he captured the championship. So Sheamus, he's still the champion now. Let's talk about this match. Let's get this over with.
It was a decent match, and I feel like there was some good spots in here, but for the most part, it was just decent. It wasn't bad. It was just okay. And there were a few moments where I was like, man, that was pretty cool. Like when Sheamus did the white noise on top of the steps, or when Roman did the sort of the Superman chair shot, whatever you want to call that. That was
nice.
That was pretty cool. But it was one of those matches, kind of like the Wyatt match, where it's just like, all right, spot to spot, like barely any transition. Is like you do this spot, then you do this spot, then you do this spot. And like I said, there were some good moments, but for the most part, it's just a decent match.
Yeah, I think that this was, and I was talking about this earlier with the Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger match. It's like you have to work twofold in matches like this, because you have to work to get back to level ground to get people to give a damn about it, and then you have to deliver a good match. And they tried their damnness out there. They did. And there was some nice action, but it was just hard investing in that action because we have two people who aren't even main eventers competing in the main event of a show for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. But if I look past all of that, and it's a lot to look past, just to get to the point where I look at the actual action of the match, the white noise onto the table, Roman Reigns with the Superman punch with the chair. I love how the announcers talked up the injury that Sheamus suffered, and they talked about like, oh, Sheamus, he must be having nightmares or flashbacks back to bad times where they had that ladder bridge between the announcers table and the ring, and they actually played that into the match. Roman Reigns drove him through that ladder. That was all really good stuff. So as far as the spots themselves, when you're looking at them from like a quality perspective, you did have some good stuff in this match, but these two guys were just out there fighting an uphill battle. And I guess I am the judge if they overcame it or not. Well, Roman Reigns did.
They did overcome it. I will say that much, because at the start of this match, the fans were shitting all over it. They were saying, "We want Cena, we miss Rollins." Did you hear those? And then by the end of the match, they were cheering for Reigns. Like when Reigns was climbing the ladder, they were going nuts. I'm like, what the hell did they do? But they won this crowd over.
Yeah, that whole emotional tug of war at the end of the show, it was so weird. And you guys will actually see this because I recorded myself. I did another live reaction for this show. And like that emotional tug of war, I just go from a point where I'm like, oh my God, is he about to do it? And then the League of Nations, nope, WWE, you're not fucking getting me this time. Nope. Oh, is he about? I was just like bouncing off of the damn wall. But yeah, you guys will see this after PWF Empire Live.
This main event was solid. I think it had a lot of positives to take away from it in terms of the action. It was a TLC match that did what a TLC match should do, and it was give you some spots that were entertaining, and again, there was a little bit of innovation thrown in there. I used that word in the ladder match, which kicked off the night, and I think there was some innovation here too, especially with that white noise spot that you guys both referenced, as well as the fact that they alluded to something of the past. And I also like that both guys felt like they were even in this match, and I like that one moment where Sheamus, or Reigns actually, had pushed Sheamus into the display up onto the stage, and he just kind of had that moment. He was like, this is TLC. Like, I don't know, I kind of got that, like, he is just in that other mode, right now. Like, this is, he knows he needs to win this championship, and you could feel that emotion, at least at that one spot, in my opinion. But it was good as far as back and forth action went, and yeah, again with the innovation in the Superman punch that was actually a chair slap to the head, or with your hands in between the chair and your head, whatever. Regardless though, this was good. Plenty of spots, did what it had to, and then by the end of it, you get the usual fuckery type of finish. I'm not surprised by any way, shape, or form. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I said was going to happen on our preview show back on Monday. Honestly, it was pretty clear and obvious that what will happen is Sheamus will retain because of League of Nations. It's just really cliche, and that's of course what they're going to do. But what happened after the match was over is what I was just loving. I mean, the match itself, solid. Finish, disappointingly obvious and predictable. Shit that happened after with Triple H and Roman Reigns, best part of the entire fucking night. Hands down. Best thing of the entire show by a mile, in my opinion.
Before we get to that, I do have to say, I I'll go ahead and say, yeah, they kind of won me over with their action and shit. The only reason why I say kinda is because I'm being stubborn. Like, I don't want to accept the fact that they won me over. But my whole issue with this is, and my whole issue with the TLC pay-per-view altogether, is the fact that I don't ever want to get to a point where people, you know, wrestlers have to get into the ring and fucking brutalize themselves to such a degree that they're basically playing catch up to cover up for the shitty job that creative did and the terrible position that creative put them in that match. Because I know they took a lot of risks because they're like, we got to get this crowd back, or we got to get this crowd, period. Like, I don't like that. I really don't like to be in a situation where I feel like you have to go out there and nearly kill each other just because we got to capture some of the magic and, you know, recapture some of the people that we lost along the way. And yeah, this is a terrible position to put your wrestlers in, but yeah, they did as best as they possibly could have done in this situation, Roman Reigns and Sheamus. And speaking of Roman Reigns and Sheamus, after the match was all over with, Sheamus, he's celebrating with his league of mid-carders in the ring, and Roman Reigns comes on and he spears all three of them. He beats the shit out of all three guys. They completely disappear. Sheamus leaves the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in the middle of the ring, and Roman Reigns is going so crazy that you actually have a ton of referees come from the back. Triple H and Stephanie, they come from the back. Triple H jumps into the ring attempting to check on Sheamus, and Roman Reigns goes into berserker mode. He beats the hell out of Triple H, and I mean, this went on for a while. I think the pay-per-view actually closed out at 10:59 or maybe even 11 on the dot, and those last few minutes of the show were just basically Roman Reigns beating the shit out of people. He powerbombed Triple H onto the announcer's table, and then he hit him with an elbow drop, driving him through the announcer's table. He even speared him, a couple of Superman punches, a lot of hits with the steel chair. So yeah, Roman Reigns went fucking nuts, and I loved it. I loved every single second of it. They were the announcers were talking about how, oh, this is the end for Roman Reigns. No, this is not the end. This is just the beginning, buddy. Like, this is the guy that I want to see. Every single thing that happened there, this is the Roman Reigns that I want to see. And no matter what bullshit we got with the ending of that match, I walk away from this pay-per-view like, damn it, I've been entertained, and I'm looking forward to what happens from this point on with Mr. Roman Reigns.
It's almost like you needed that crappy finish to this match to get this amazing aftermath. And sometimes that can be the best thing, because, again, you think about this. This is TLC, the last pay-per-view of the year, heading into the Royal Rumble and then WrestleMania season. So, if anything, this is kind of like that cliffhanger to end the year of pay-per-views of like, man, are we going to see Roman Reigns really emerge as a star? Is this the beginning of something big for him? So you're left with those questions. And also, are we going to see Triple H versus Roman Reigns? After this beatdown, if we don't see that match, huge disappointment. That match almost has to happen now, even though I've been advocating for this match for a long while. Anyway, I remember thinking about this match happening in 2013. That's how much I've wanted to see Triple H versus Roman Reigns. I think these two will put on a really good match, and I think the build-up to it can be amazing. This is your build-up. This is the starting point. They have laid the foundation. They actually started it back at Survivor Series. That was like the little groundwork, and this is the foundation. This is like the bridge has been built. It just needs to be completed, and it can be something amazing. This could be an unbelievable match between these two guys, and I don't care if it's at Rumble. It better be at Rumble, for crying out loud. I mean, after this,
there's no way it's gonna be at Rumble. It's gonna be to me, it's gonna be at the Elimination Chamber. But either way, right?
Yeah, it really.
Fastlane.
Fastlane. Yeah. Whoops. Oh, whatever. It's the fifth name for that pay-per-view.
No Way Out. Right?
Yeah, right. I mean, but. Yeah, I mean, whenever it happens, whether it's Rumble, then it needs to happen regardless. It has to happen WrestleMania season in that span of time. because this was an amazing beatdown, and this was badass. This is the Roman Reigns that we all want. It's badass. It's no fucks given. It's unhinged. It's raw. And not the bad 3-hour show you watch on Monday. It is raw. This is Roman Reigns, man. It was completely the guy that we've wanted to see in so many ways. A silent, didn't have to say a fucking word, but he spoke so loudly through his actions. That's what we've wanted. That's basically the summation of what we've wanted with Roman Reigns all this time, and we got it, 15-fold here in this. It was amazing. It was just a fantastic way to finish this night. There wasn't a whole lot of amazing things that happened on this show for me, but this finish, wow. Just absolutely great way to end this night. By far the best moment of it, and definitely leaves me with a lot less of a sour taste, with this type of finish. It actually makes me look forward to Raw in that way. They get you with segments like this, and I hope that this is the start to something good. But I'm not naive, and I'm not stupid. I know that this could lead to something that goes absolutely nowhere. But either way, this segment, just taking this segment away, it was amazing. And it's Roman Reigns, honestly, the best performance I've ever seen out of him. That 100%.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I have some other Reigns moments in mind, but it was really good. My friend said... He said that tomorrow Reigns is going to come out and tell the story of Humpty Dumpty because Sheamus was on the wall of his buddies and then he got knocked off. But anyway, this was a huge success in terms of being a segment. This got Reigns over, and it's crazy because, two things I noticed when you compare this to John Cena. First of all, I said when I was watching this, I was like, wow, this is interesting. John Cena would never do this. And that's good because you don't want Reigns to be Cena 2.0. Nobody wants him to be Cena 2.0 except maybe Vince McMahon, who is maybe starting to learn that he won't be. But either way, I was like, well, Cena wouldn't do this, so that's a start. And then I realized, well, the crowd is getting excited over this. And I thought, even if Cena did do this, the crowd wouldn't react this way. And the crowd was going nuts. So this is a really good sign to me. It means that the crowd does not hate Roman Reigns. They really actually want to like Roman Reigns. They just want to see this sort of thing. I think that's that's hope for WWE, who really wants Reigns to be their top guy. They can make him their top guy. He's not Cena 2.0, in that the fans aren't going to reject this guy unanimously. They want to cheer him, and I think they are willing to accept him as the top face as long as he is like this and not a goody two-shoes, white meat baby face. There's one sort of criticism I have, and it's sort of that I wish he did something to put this over the top. I'm not saying it wasn't good, because it was really good, but I felt like, well, yeah, he's just beating up Triple H. He really needs to do something where it's like, holy shit, this guy is in trouble. Sort of like when Randy Orton kicked Vince in the skull, or just something like this guy is in trouble with the fucking company. Because the commentary was trying to sell it like, yeah, Reigns is done, he's over, they're going to reprimand him. But I feel like it wasn't that way, because we've seen people beat up Triple H before. Bryan has done it, even Reigns has done it in the Shield. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's not. It was a badass thing, but it's not necessarily like he's not going to be fired over this. This wasn't a Stone Cold Steve Austin type of moment, and I kind of wish he had just done something. I don't know what. I was thinking maybe to hit him in the head with a chair, because the fans know that's taboo, so you don't do that. I don't know. It's something just to put this over the top, but honestly, it didn't need it to be effective, because it was completely effective and it did its job and it won over the crowd. And when Roman Reigns is walking away, someone on commentary was like, thank God. And I was like, yeah, that's what Vince McMahon is saying right now. Thank God finally we got Roman Reigns over, because the crowd really loved this.
Oh, yeah, they did. And that reaction at the end of the night, that's enough for me to see that that's one of the best reactions he's ever gotten, and for good reason. I mean, it just goes to show you that when you use this guy to his true strengths, that people will like it. People will get behind it. It's not the guy that people have been booing. It's the way that he's been used. And it's not that people are all thinking, oh, it's just the way he's been used. But if you give me somebody who's smiling and talking about the beans, it's not gonna... It doesn't work, you know? But if you have this guy who is a complete badass, people are like, hey, I can get into that. I like this. This guy is something. Like, this is the kind of guy that you would talk to your friends about and say, man, this guy is a badass. That would be one of the main things you would use to describe him. Whereas if you get the smiling guy, you're going to say, there's this other guy, he's big and looks really tough and kind of looks badass, but he likes to talk about magic beans and, and tater tots, and that's where there's just that clash right there, and that needs to end. That they need to fall away from the overly drawn out promos and just focus on how badass of a guy he can be. He can still talk. It's not that he can't ever, use a microphone. It's just limit what he says and make it fucking count.
Yeah, and he like really sold like how pissed off. Like right after the match, he looked fucking pissed. Like it looked like he was like, how fucking dare the fucking League of Nations? Like who do they think they are? Like you saw his face, like so pissed off. And they really need to do this, because if they were gonna screw him over again, which they did, he needed to actually react to it, because he's been screwed over so many times. It just, if it didn't happen, then it's kind of like, okay, so this is just another plot device to keep Reigns chasing the title. But this is actually something called character development. Wow. See what happens when you employ a little tricks of the trade when it comes to writing television?
Yeah. Like, I've seen way too many dopey looks on Roman Reigns' face where he's just, oh my god, all of my dreams are crushed. Get mad.
I did not want to. Yeah, I did not want to see this guy crying at the end of the last pay-per-view. Like, I never want to see Reigns crying. What? I don't. Well, that's over with, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. But I'm glad he wasn't crying on this one. Like, he looked fucking pissed off, and you could tell.
Yeah, and going back to what you were talking about, Steven, I actually called for a chair shot to the head, because I think that would have made it seem as if, oh shit, like this guy is not playing. Even without that, I still love every single thing.
Yeah.
That happened
without
here.
It's still effective, but I wish they just did something just to put the exclamation point. But it's okay.
Yeah, because you want to talk about like, oh, this could get this guy fired, like. Go for it. Shit, Triple H, he's an executive. He did it in his match with The Undertaker from a few years ago. So, yeah, and both of them got fined. And they probably laughed when they heard they got fined. But, yeah, shit. They could cover that for Roman Reigns. But, yeah, even without that, I still love this segment. This is the guy that I want to see. And I find it very interesting that he seemed so comfortable in that moment. Because when you play to a person's strengths, it's kind of like they look like they're supposed to be there and they act naturally. Like, how does that work? I don't know, but oh man, I can't wait to see what happens from this point on. I'm hoping that they continue on this road, just like I was talking about with the Page thing. Like, the shit happened, commit to it, don't go back on it. Like, don't have them going out there apologizing or any other shit like that. Like, go full strength with it, and if you do that, then this could be the start of something good. And like, I saw a few people in the chat talking about, oh, he was still getting booed at the end of the night, and I don't know if he's really
was
over.
he? I did not hear any of that.
See,
I heard the
crowd
was going nuts over this.
If you want to hear it, you will. If you want to, because like, I mean, you could shit. Like, there's never been one time where anybody has been universally booed or cheered.
Yeah,
it's
I'm sure you could find some, but like, for the most part, the crowd was going nuts, and they were like,
yeah, whatever your slant is, that's what you're gonna go with. But
like, they were begging him to do it again to Triple H, and then I think wasn't there a "Thank You Roman" chant? Like, did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Yes, you absolutely
did. Talk about
did.
winning the crowd over. Like, they were shitting on this guy at the beginning.
Shit, he won me over, and I watched to be entertained myself.
Look,
and damn it,
you're not as hard to win over as most people, because you're actually a Roman Reigns fan, like, and so am I. But these guys, like, you get the feeling like a lot of these people really don't like Reigns. But like, I was surprised. Mm-hmm. I'm like, shit, they really do like Reigns, because they're really into this. It's not that they don't like him; it's that they just don't like how he's booked.
Man. So, closing thoughts on TLC.
Well, before we do that, I just want to ask you, like, what I said about Cena. Like, can you see, like, imagine Cena doing something like this. I feel like even if Cena did this, he wouldn't have got the response. Like, he wouldn't have been... I don't think Cena could go from boos to cheers by beating the shit out of Triple H. I just don't see that happening.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Like, I feel
because
like people would be intrigued. They'd be like, is this a Cena heel turn? But they wouldn't be like, oh, awesome, Cena. Like, but now, like, people really like this when Reigns does it. And I think that's really good sign. It really is, because it shows that they're not... This isn't going to be a colossal failure as long as they do it correctly. If they want Reigns, they can have Reigns, because the fans are willing to take him as long as you present him properly.
Okay, and this might be it. I'm crossing my fingers, hoping so. So, overall thoughts on TLC?
Well, I personally felt that this was a show that had a couple of major positives and then some, blah moments. I mean, really, there's no other way to put it. You had an amazing open to this night and an amazing close. Like, the bookends were really solid and great. But, everything in between, there was, some moments that were decent and a lot that were whatever. Like Rusev, Ryback, ADR swagger, the 8-man elimination table match. None of those are memorable very much, at least in my opinion. The Diva title match, at least we had, Charlotte become more interesting as and the match was decent. And the IC title, solid match. That could lead to some good things. So, I mean, it's not like it was all bad, but the beginning of the night and the end of the night are really the big things to remember. And that's not the main event match as much as it is what came after. But the match itself, the main event, was pretty good. And there was quite a bit of effort thrown in there, and you could just feel that throughout. And the story was there. And what we got after that was just complete badassery. So... they left me with a good feeling. I come away from this with a good feeling because of the end of the night. But it was just an okay show, really, when you look at it on the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and it's really strange because, like, I'm starting to think, like, does the show even matter as long as the ending is good? Because right now, if I look at the show, I'm like, yeah, it wasn't that great. But then I'm like, I feel really awesome. Like, I feel excited and hyped and all that stuff. So it's like, do I call this a good show or a bad show? Does it matter, really? It's successful because I'm excited right now, and that's what I want after I watch a wrestling show. And there's been shows where it's kind of the reverse. Like, it's been a good show, and then the ending sucks, and then I'll come away looking like, oh, fuck this company. Like, we've had those moments before. So it's like the ending is such an important factor, and they really got that right. I really felt like this was something... the ratings are going on a decline. I feel like they haven't been doing anything to try to remedy that. But I feel like this is something that was the result of them sitting down and saying, okay, look, we have to do something different. And they gave us something a little bit different. It's not the first time we've seen something like this, but this was a change in the direction of Roman Reigns. And if he's the main guy, that's a significant change in the company right now. So I appreciate that, and I'm really hyped for it. And I came out of the pay-per-view excited, just like you, Evan. And so, to me, I'd call it a decent show with a very good ending.
The middle of this show was complete trash. I'm looking at these matches: Rusev, Ryback, Alberto Del Rio, Jack Swagger, ECW versus Wyatt family. You could take all of that shit. I don't want it. But as the night started to roll on, things got a little better once you got out of that middle part. And to pick up off of what Evan said, the bookends of the show, the first match and the last segment, great stuff. And coming away from this show, I am very excited. And at the very least, WWE gave me a reason to be optimistic, or gave me a little bit of hope that things may change, because you guys know I'm like down in the dumps when it comes to my opinion on WWE these days. There's not much to get excited about, but they may have provided me with something to get excited about at the end of the show with Roman Reigns and his actions where he went nuts. And I'm actually excited to see how they follow this up on Raw tomorrow. And like me being excited to see an episode of Raw, that is definitely an improvement. So if you look at it from that perspective, TLC was a success, or at the very least a step in the right direction for WWE. That is it for us on PWF Empire Live. You're more than welcome to pick up off of anything that we discussed, take things into a new context, whatever it may be from this point on. And we will see you next time on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we'll be talking about the fallout from TLC and also be presenting a new kayfabe tier list from Steven. So a lot of good stuff to look forward to in this next episode of PWF Empire Live. Until then, catch you on the flip side. Peace out.